And the difference between what we do and, say, a restaurant or an airline or some other kind of customer service industry is that we are not next to the customer as they are reading it. And that means that all the necessary material for them to recreate that story has to be held between those two metaphorical covers. And the title of this is called Great Storytelling Requires Coherence. And for Justin's sake, I'm going to say, I think we're good on the coherence front. So we're going to go over that in his section. So here's your promise for today. It's going to be a short lesson. I just want to establish this in your head because it grounds all of our efforts in terms of producing compelling novels. It follows directly on the definition of story that we talked about last time, as you'll see. We're going to define coherence a little bit more explicitly. I think the most interesting thing to me personally is we're going to talk about the cognitive foundation of coherence, which is basically taken from readings in psychology and cognitive science. If you can think of the difference between those two, let me know. And then finally, we're going to talk a little bit about how to achieve it. And in this case, we're going to use it to conceptualize revisions, which is the stage Justin is at for this project. So let me harken back to our definition of story. You'll remember all stories are a coherent combination of 5 elements. And then we have our 5 standard story elements: character, world, plot, conflict, and theme. Now, the first and most important implication of this definition is that incoherence is bad, and it must be avoided at all costs. Now, the roots of incoherence usually are either confusion or boredom, but that's at the reader level. If you dig more deeply, incoherence comes from a lack of story development. The story itself is all 5 elements, and the root cause of most incoherence is one of those elements is either missing or underdeveloped. And then the other root cause is that the writing doesn't live up to the story you're trying to tell. On the positive implication, the positive implication is that coherence directly leads to reader satisfaction. And reader satisfaction, as you know, is the sine qua non of authorship, and it leads to our nice little icons here. A good book, happy readers, good word of mouth, and then hopefully fat stacks of cash. The thing that I find most interesting about coherence is that it seems to be symptomatic of the way human minds work. Before I dive into this, I want to issue a disclaimer. As you may know, in the past life, I was a political psychologist. I did a lot of academic work on memory and how messages affect memory. The sad fact is that very few, in fact, I've yet to find one, psychologist or cognitive science studying the way stories reside in memory full time. There's a few scattered papers on it, but there's no good body of evidence that points to exactly what our memory for stories is. That makes sense. That said, we can speculate a little bit. The one thing we know for certain is that stories are a kind of human currency. So if you look at young children, right, one of their incessant demands is, tell me a story. And then if you look at older adults, their everyday conversations usually take the form of something like, how was your day? And then the response is some kind of story. And past that, which is good for all authors, stories have become a marketable commodity, right? There is a demand for stories in our society, and given market capitalism, et cetera, people are willing to pay for good stories. Now, what that implies is that there is something about human brains that is uniquely suited to stories. Now, other authors have called this a story instinct or a story science. I don't want to go that far. Right? I don't think there is such a thing as a storytelling science for the reason I mentioned. There are almost literally no scientists studying storytelling in a rigorous, peer-reviewed academic way. And story instinct, I think, is just too vague to be useful. But what I would like you to think about is the idea that there is a memory structure for stories. And the way I'd like to put this is that there is a story-shaped box in your head. And then every story that you hear, your mind attempts to fit it into that story-shaped box. And we can think about the shape, the size, the topology, if you will, of that story-shaped box as a result, as a sort of symptom of all the things that you hear about stories. So for example, we've identified 5 elements: character, world, theme, conflict, and plot. It's common to virtually all stories, therefore this memory structure must be able to accommodate those 5 stories. And the idea is that by accommodating this box, you're going to make stories easier to appreciate and to understand. And if you can do that, that's how you achieve coherence. So more specifically, what do you need to, what does a coherent story require? And I'll suggest there's 3 things. And I've called these retrospective because the way we think about things as Bardsy is that your story doesn't have to be perfect up until the point that it is a polished manuscript ready to turn over to a publisher or to put online through whatever self-publishing service you'd like. So Justin here and we are at the cusp of revision. So this is the point at which you have to look back on your story and check off all these boxes. Now, hopefully, you've been using our tools to do the work all along, so there aren't many boxes to check. So the way to think about this is a kind of quality control, right? We have our first draft. We're going to go back and we're going to look carefully to make sure all these things are true in order to satisfy our readers. So thing 1, each element is fully developed. I think that kind of goes without saying. We've talked about it before. Characters, the reader has to be familiar with them. They have to have an arc. World, almost the same thing. Conflict and theme has to be, omnipresent, increasing, and with stakes suitable for the genre. And then we have all the necessities of plot. So we have another video on the continuity and value delivery spreadsheet, which covers this in more detail. This is a little bit vaguer, but these things have to fit together, right? They have to synergize. A good story is more than an assemblage of elements. It is a holistic product that delivers an experience to readers. And if something is ajar in how they fit together, it's not going to be coherent. And then finally, it needs a beginning, middle, and end. And story dynamics are essential. I'm not going to talk about them again today, but keep in mind that as part of coherence, that there is a narrative that has a start, an inciting incident, and then it rising action, etc. That is part of coherence. It's not separable from it. So the way to think about achieving coherence is in 3 stages. And these stages roughly follow how novels are written and then read. So first of all, there's a story in your head. Now we have our MCS exercise. And the point here is that the story has to be coherent in your head if you have any hope of having the reader experience it properly. The second part is to transmit the story, right? You have to put the story in your head into words. The words are the product, It is a mechanism for delivering the story. So a lot of people conflate these two items, but you can separate them. There's a story in your head which has to get set, crystallized, gelled according to our MCS criteria. And then writing is a matter of transmitting that story by putting this vision in your head into words. So that separation has another important consequence, which is this. All feedback should take the form of either there's something wrong with your story's development, or you're not telling the story effectively. That's it, right? Those two things, story development or what we can call story alignment. And any third thing is sort of very low level, like line editing or copy editing, and it's way below in terms of priority. So when we're giving feedback to another story, those are the two questions we have in mind. Is the story well enough developed? Can I grasp it? Can I understand what's going on? Are the elements there? Do they fit together? Beginning, middle, and end, etc. And then we turn to the writing to see how well the story is being told. Is it being communicated effectively so that the reader can understand it? Because what the reader is trying to do, point 3, is to recreate that story in their head. That is the experience of storytelling. I repeat this a lot, but we are in a customer service industry, right? We are delivering an experience to the reader. And the difference between what we do and, say, a restaurant or an airline or some other kind of customer service industry is that we are not next to the customer as they are reading it. And that means that all the necessary material for them to recreate that story has to be held between those two metaphorical covers. Now, what is the reader trying to do in this recreation process? Well, they're trying to fit your story into that story-shaped memory box, right? So they fit in the 5 elements, they see how they fit together, they work out the development for each of them, and then they sort it so there's a beginning, middle, and end. So good stories, compelling stories, satisfying stories are coherent in the sense that they proceed through each of these 3 stages. That makes sense? All right, so just to recap, coherence, absolutely vital. Incoherent stories, almost an oxymoron, right? If something is incoherent, it's really not a story, and it's more just a jumbled mess of random words. And we believe it's true because of the way stories are reflected in human society, so much so that there's strong reason to believe that there is a part of our brain is devoted specifically to stories, storytelling, and recalling stories. And then finally, you can work through the coherence of your story systematically. Doing it beforehand with our tools or however you want to set it up is great. And then certainly you have to do it retrospectively to make sure that, let's see if I get this right, all your I's are dotted and all your T's are crossed. So next time, we're going to talk a little bit more about this generic story concept and how the mere existence of it will help your writing. So any questions? Nope. All right. So let me turn off our slides and we will move on to Justin's portion.
Bardsy delivers the tools, guidance, and support you need to produce compelling novels. Our well-researched and thoroughly tested approach includes our minimum complete story, a 90-second exercise that keeps your writing on track while fueling creativity. Bardsy Publishability Index, a 23-dimension checklist that offers attainable goals and provides actionable feedback. And our brand new comprehensive character developer that helps you construct unforgettable characters. Come see for yourself at Bardsy.com today. Try our workshop or enter our first chapter contest. Then, when you're ready, Elite Membership delivers writing groups, personal coaching, in a curated community. With Bardsy, your work will captivate everyone, from agents to publishers, and, most importantly, your readers.